Hi, I'm Dr. Mark, and I'm going to help you sing and perform more like the top artists around the world. I'm a professional voice teacher, performance coach, and opera stage director. I've helped thousands of singers around the world learn the techniques and methods that got the top singers to where they are. Let's talk about what makes DIMASH's performance of Ulysses so awesome. Hope you're excited for the upcoming concert in New York. Wish I could be there with you. I'm not going to be able to get there to see it, but I hope that there's a lot of great clips that come out of it. If you're going to the concert and there's specific moments that you want me to react to and you think were awesome, reach out, tell me what they are. You can email me. You can find me on my website, mrperformingartsstudio.com. You can comment down below. I would love to hear what the best moments are. If you have awesome video that you're able to get from the concert, let me know. I'll use that, and really excited. This video, like most of my others, were recommended by some of my viewers, and I'm really excited to see it. I haven't watched it yet, so here we go. Oi, DIMASH's baritone operatic sound. Gorgeous. Love it. So there's actually one thing that I want to point out here that I think is a really important lesson to learn. You'll see it all the time in these stars that have to perform in these big amphitheater places. They wear these in-ear monitors, right? You'll notice he's putting it in, he'll take it out at other moments. Does it bother you? Not really. Why? Because it's just an action. He's not giving any real attention to it. He's not like making something of it. He's just doing it. Every day, all day, we're doing other tasks as we're going about our daily life. We as humans just learn to ignore it. They're just a normal part of life, and we don't pay attention to it anymore. A lot of singers, when they perform, they become hyper aware of every little thing that they're doing. And so then they try to do it slow motion. I'm not going to draw attention to it, so I'm going to go extra slow and be careful with it. By doing that, it draws even more attention to it, makes it harder to watch than if they just went and did it like it was no big deal. If it's something that you just got to do, don't try to be subtle about it, just do it. But do it like it's no big deal, unless you're really wanting the audience to pay attention to it, in which case, make it a big deal. So that's a great tip here and tool that we can learn from DIMASH is don't not do what you need to do. Do what you got to do, and do it without making a big deal of it, and the audience will be just fine. The other thing I want to point out here is these white costumes. What is that all about? Well, in general, straight white is a dangerous color to wear on stage because it's really hot. It usually washes out skin tone and causes all kinds of problems, and your lighting designer will hate you forever. But here in this moment, it's again, we're in this big amphitheater setting, and so they're hitting them with it. It really lights up and draws their attention straight to them. DIMASH is really smart here in his costuming because he has this black line from his collar and from his wrists, and his hair is also black. All that serves to frame his face. So even though there's this really hot white costume that's really dramatic and gorgeous, all these elements are framing our face and allow our eyes to stay focused on his face. She has her own help in letting us stay on her face. She doesn't have this framing here, and it's white. She does have the dark hair on top that's framing on top, but because she has more dramatic eye makeup and her lips are this bright red, that helps us to stay on her face and stay focused on her face. So those things are really important. Even if you want them to pay attention to the costume and love it or love your action, really as a performer, our primary communicative tool and way to engage the audience is with our face. And so in a big arena like this, you probably have videos and their faces on the Jumbotron or whatever, but even still, the people are going to look down, and you have to be able to do what you can to facilitate them staying focused on your face and letting your face be expressive. So even here at the start, they're doing an awesome job with that. Excited to hear what other sounds we make though. Really cool. Okay, what is the shape he's making here back here in the oropharynx? It's not his usual pop that he uses when he has to get up top, is it? It's a lot warmer, richer, and darker. His larynx is dropped, and it's really opening back. It's more of an O shape or an shape. I probably lean towards the I like that better. It has more ping in it. Right here, to me, if I had to guess though, it's probably a little more O shape because I'm not hearing that squealo, that brighter timbre that we often can hear with operatic singing. He's actually muting it a little bit. Is that a problem? Is that something wrong? No, he's got a mic. That squealo is really important because it's in the singer's formant, which is what humans' ears are tuned to be able to pick up. It's a certain frequency range, but since he has a mic, he doesn't have to create that all on his own. So he can really augment this sound that he's making to make it dark, warm, rich, and slightly muted. It's a sound we don't hear all the time with DIMASH, but is also awesome because not only does he have these super amazing high notes, he's got this really rich, beefy, glorious low range too. Love it. You'll also notice how he's using his eyes, his face, and his mouth in a way that's unapologetic, that is confident, and that is expressive. It's about what he's communicating both emotionally and with the text. Awesome. Okay, fan cam is a little rough. It's always a little rough, especially when things are moving and shifting and you have people in front of you to try to find a good angle. So kudos to the fan cam operator who's doing their best to get us the best view that they could get. So here, one of the things you'll notice is they have a very limited stage, a very limited area that they can work with in this moment. They're in an ice rink, it looks like, with ice skaters going around. And so they're probably not wanting to move a lot with their feet. That's fine. They're being really expressive with the rest of their body. You'll also notice that they're angled out. They're probably, I'm guessing, by the view of this camera and the people on the other side, that they're surrounded 360 degrees. So they have to really be aware of where their audience is and make sure they're playing to the entire audience, but that it still looks like they're relating to each other. So they couldn't be back to back because then that would feel like they're disconnected from each other and they aren't telling the same story, that they're opposing sides. They're not. They're singing together here. So their bodies are still relating towards each other. They're still interacting, but they're also playing to that greater audience. Those are all the factors that have to be involved, and they're doing an awesome job managing all these elements together. Let's talk about status real quick. Who's high status in this shot where we just stopped? Well, she is. Why? She's taking up more physical space, more time space, more sound space right now. Her arms are making bigger gestures. She's just higher status. Think of a wedding. Who's higher status, bride or groom? Bride. She's got this big bouquet that's essentially a king's scepter. She's usually got a long train on her dress. She's got this big dress. She's white. Guy's in a tuxedo and black. All kinds of stuff. Does that mean DIMASH is low status? No. What's interesting here is actually how high status he plays, even though he's in traditional clothing that kind of diminishes the man's status. Why? He's wearing white. It draws so much attention. It's a really high status color. Black kind of hides things, right? Everyone looks good in black. Okay, so the reason is because that can hide a multitude of not happy things. I guess I should wear black more often. But with him here, he's wearing white. It really draws our attention. 2, you'll notice the stance he's taking with his legs is really wide. He still is taking up a lot of physical space. And in this moment, he is not supposed to be the center of attention because he's not singing. She is. So he is diminishing his status, turning his body towards her, giving her his attention to raise her status. This is a sign of a good colleague. DIMASH is showing that he's a good colleague. He's a great person to be on stage with because he knows how to make the other person look good and not just himself. Awesome. So they saved this moment where they actually face each other and look directly on and make contact for a climax, for a big moment. If they had done it earlier, it wouldn't mean as much. They stayed oblique to each other all over the place, engaging the audience, getting them all in there. So when they had this big moment, it meant something. Again, with DIMASH, always, his numbers are always so well thought out, so deliberate, to communicate what the audience needs to, that's so in tune and so sensitive to what the music's calling for. Absolutely love it. Other thing that is so cool here that I didn't notice until we're watching this bit is you'll notice that because they're both wearing the same shade of white, when they are together and they are synced up and they are relating directly to each other, they blend into each other. There's this kind of unity, this melding. It's super romantic. It's also really visually stunning to see them transform. When they're apart, we see these two distinct people, and then they come together and they kind of blend into this one thing, this one person. And that's kind of a beautiful symbol in this moment visually. And we can relate with that on a subconscious level, this kind of connection that they're sharing visually. Love it. So cool. Notice that jaw release? Down and back, baby. Love it. Okay, you'll notice here, taller and back. Especially in the middle of the top, there's the still smile in the back. There's the still yawning smile in the back, but they're adding a lot more height to it too. That's getting this warmer oscuro sound, this darker sound, right? This in the back is going to keep the chiaro there, the bright, the light. And so together we get this chiaro oscuro, which is one of the huge elements that we consider as idiomatic to classical singing, or at least associated with classical singing and that sound that we associate when we listen to opera and stuff like that, right? You'll notice they're really having a wide embouchure here in front. It's really releasing. It's really open and wide. Try that and see where it goes. You watch for it though, because wider is not always more resonant. So there's a balance to find. Imagine that you have a guitar body and you have that little hole in the front. If you make that a little hole wider, there's a point where it'll actually make less sound be less resonant, less full. The flip side is also true. If you make it too small, it's not going to sound like it needs to. So finding that sweet spot for the style and sound that you're wanting to create. Biggest gesture, highest status, arms out. Biggest moments where? Biggest moment of the song, like it should be. Their body crescendos with the crescendo of the music, and everything works together to tell an awesome story. Beautiful work on both of their parts. Lovely, lovely, lovely stuff. If you want a voice lesson, a performance coaching, or want me to work with you or your group to help you sing easier, perform at a consistently higher level, book a time with me at mrperformingartstudio.com. You can also find me on wizio.com if you want to just reach out for a shorter opinion or some feedback. I look forward to seeing you next time.